Howdy y'all! Texans for Environmental Consulting presents an instructional video for standard operating procedures for soil sampling. First, we will discuss the scope and application. The purpose of this standard operating procedure, also known as SOP, is to provide general field sampling guidelines that will assist Texas A&M University students in choosing sampling strategies, location, and frequency for proper assessment of site characteristics. This SOP is applicable to field activities that involve random sampling. This is a standard operating procedure which may be varied or changed as required, dependent on site conditions, equipment limitations, or limitations imposed by the procedure. In all instances, the ultimate procedures employed should be documented and associated with the final report. Mention of trade name or commercial products does not constitute Texans for Environmental Consulting endorsement or recommendation for use.
Equipment needed for SOP includes, but is not limited to, safety vest, tape measure, twine on a roll, wooden stakes, at least 45 stakes, latex gloves, paper towel, cooler, ice packs, glass sample containers with screw-tight plastic caps, at least 6 containers, labels for sample containers, at least 6 labels, custody seals for cooler, at least 4 seals, deionized water, tube auger, and scissors.
The following preparations are essential for completing a reliable soil sample. Determine the extent of the sampling effort, the sampling methods to be employed, and the types and amounts of equipment and supplies required. Obtain necessary sampling and monitoring equipment, decontaminate or pre-clean equipment and ensure that it is in working order, prepare schedules, and coordinate with staff, client, and regulatory agencies. Perform a general site survey prior to the site entry in accordance with the site-specific health and safety plan. Use stakes, flagging, or buoys to identify and mark all sampling locations. Specific site factors, including extent and nature of contaminant, should be considered when selecting sample location. If required, the proposed locations may be adjusted based on site access, property boundaries, and surface obstructions. All staked locations should be utility cleared by the property owner or the on-scene coordinator prior to soil sampling, and utility clearance should always be confirmed before beginning work.
The following steps are the standard operating procedure for a reliable soil sample. Measure a 10 by 10 foot square in the designated area. Starting at 0 feet, insert a wooden stake into the soil and continue inserting stakes at 1 foot intervals until 10-foot mark is reached. Once the outline is completed, 40 stakes should have been used. Next, wrap twine around the perimeter of the grid. Then wrap twine in a snake-like fashion around the interior of the grid to create a grid composed of 1 by 1 foot squares. Determine a number system for each of the boxes within the grid so that the box numbers range from 1 to 100. Using a random number generator, randomly select 4 numbers. Find the randomly chosen numbers within the grid boxes. These boxes will be the location of the 4 random samples to be taken. Place jars in the designated grid area where samples will be taken. Clear debris, such as grass, twigs, leaves, etc., from the randomly chosen areas within the designated grid. Insert the tube auger into the material to be sampled at a 0 degree to 45 degree angle from the horizontal. This orientation minimizes the spillage of the sample. Rotate the tube auger once or twice to cut a core of material. Slowly withdraw the tube auger, making sure that the slot is facing upward. Fill out a sample label and attach to the sample jar. Insert the soil sample into the sample jar and immediately seal the jar. Place the labeled sample jar into the cooled cooler for preservation. Clean the tube auger with distilled water before taking other soil samples to prevent cross-contamination. Collect all samples, including blanks. After all samples have been placed in a cooler that has been cooled with the ice packs, be sure to secure the cooler with a completed custody seal. Completely fill out and sign a chain of custody form. If you have any questions about additional procedures, please contact Texans for Environmental Consulting at 979-555-7645.